I'm going to show you how to upload pupils to your organisation. So to get started, you can select Pupils and then the Add Pupil drop-down menu from the top here. And you'll notice that there are 3 ways you can add children onto your organisation. The first way we're going to look at adding children to your organisation is through the quick Add Pupils form. So I'm going to select that from the drop-down menu. Now this way is a really quick and simple way of bulk adding lots of children to your organisation. And the way you do that is very simple. In this top box, you enter the pupils' names. You can either do that through typing them in manually, or if you have access to a class list, you can copy and paste it into there. So that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to copy and paste mine to a class list. So I'm going to go to my Excel. I'm going to copy the children's names. And I'm going to paste them into this box here. Now, what is really important to do is that after every child's name, I place a comma, and that's to separate the names to ensure that they are separate entities when entered into your organisation. I could now select Create if I wanted to, and it would add those children straight away into the organisation. However, at this point, I can also place them into a class. And to do that, I can use this optional box down below. Now I can either add them to a class that already exists. So if I click in this box here, you'll see that some classes that have already been added to my organisation are here. So I can click on those to add, or I can create a new class for them to join. So in this instance, I'm going to create a new class. So I'm going to call this class the Year 1 Caterpillars. And I'm going to select this box here. And that is now ready to upload. Once I'm ready, I'm going to select Create, and you will see that those children have now been added to my organisation, names there, and the classes and groups they are in also here. If I go on to classes and groups, you'll see that the Year 1 Caterpillars has now been created. The second way to add pupils to your organisation is to use the full details form. Now this way you can only add one child at a time. So if you're looking at doing the bulk adding, you will use either the quick form we looked at earlier or the CSV form we're going to look at in a second. If you want to add just one child to your organisation, you can do it this way. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to type in their name here. And then underneath I have all the optional fields. So I don't have to fill these in, but I can add them. These fields can be edited at any time as well on the child's pupil profile once they're created. So I can use the calendar method here to select a birth date. I can select their gender. I can again use the calendar system to state the day they join the school and the day that they leave the school. And at this point, I can also add tags by clicking this box. These are the preloaded tags for my organisation. So I'm going to make this child a free school meals. Once I've put all this information in and I'm happy, I select Save Details, and that now has been added to my organisation. So you'll see here, the pupils there. To add them to a class, I can then scroll down, select Bulk Action under Classes and Groups, and I can add and remove them from any groups that have already been added to my organisation. The final way to add pupils to your organisation is through uploading a CSV form. So I'm going to select the Upload Pupils from CSV, and it brings up this pop-up box. So my first job is going to be to download the template file, which I can do by selecting the button down here. So now you see my template CSV form has been downloaded. You'll notice that it gives you some examples of how to fill in the information. The important information that has to be filled in on this CSV form is the name column. All the other columns are optional. And again, any information that is not added at this point can be added later on using the pupil profile on your organisation. So I'm going to delete these example names because I want to fill in the names I've got for myself. So again, I'm going to choose my names from earlier that I want to add by copying and pasting. Them into here. And now all the other columns, as I said, I can add in if I want. So the date of birth, I can add in using any sort of date format, if I know those dates of birth. Gender, again, I can add in if I wish. The join date and leave dates, again, can be added. Now, tags, it is very important that any tag you wish to add is already added to your organization. So for example, earlier, when we were adding tags using the individual pupil upload, you saw there were free school meals, there was gifted and talented. If you are unsure about the tags, leave those blank for now, because again, you can go back and add those in later. But I happen to know that Alfie here is free school meals, so I know that the FSM acronym is for free school meals. Finally, you can add children to classes at this point. Now, when it comes to adding classes, you can either add them to a class that already exists on your organization, or you can create a new class for them to go into. So for example, Michael Jones, I'm going to add into my Year 6 Otter class. Now, it's very important when adding classes using this form that you type in the names of the classes correctly. That includes capital letters. If it is not typed in correctly, what will happen is a new class will be created. So again, make sure that you're cross-referencing with your organization classes before typing these in. I'm going to add Katie to my Year 1 Caterpillars. And I'm going to add Alfie to a new class called Year 3 Beavers. Once I'm happy that I've added all the information that I think is relevant, I'm going to make sure that I save this and be ready to upload it to my organization. So to upload my CSV form, I come back to this pop-up screen here, and I'm going to select Upload a File, find the relevant file in the folder where it's saved. So in this instance, it's my Pupils Upload CSV file here. So I'm going to select that one. You'll see that the children are very quickly added to my organization. And you can see they've been added to the relevant classes and groups here. So the Year 6 Otter class was already a class. They've been added to that one, as is the Year 1 Caterpillars. But you'll see that the Year 3 Beavers has now been added as well. So if I go to classes and groups, you'll see those there. Again, as I have mentioned previously in this video, pupil information can be updated at any time. And to do that, you simply select the pupil, and you go to their pupil profile, and then from here you can edit their details. So if you wanted to add in those tags, you can add them in here, as well as changing their joining date or their leaving date or their name, changing or adding them to any classes and groups, and adding any notes to that child as well. So I'm going to select Save Details, and you'll see that Michael has now been tagged as gifted and talented. So if I go back to the pupil screen, that now has been added.